Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kevin Checkwitz. This is the Kaged match, and this is a review for WWE Raw for December 30th, 2019. We start out really good. I really like this opening. You have Kevin Owens. He's out there. He's cutting a promo on Seth Rollins. He's calling out Seth Rollins and the AOP. Of course, Seth Rollins and the AOP answer. They come out. They jump him. Samoa Joe, who got attacked by AOP last week, comes out. And it turns into a big brawl where Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens are standing tall at the end of the little brawl. It was really cool. It was a great way to bring Samoa Joe back in as a babyface to face these three monsters. Well, Seth Rollins just being the head. Right after that, you have a backstage interview with Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe where they're talking about kind of partnering up to deal with a mutual enemy. So very cool there. I really liked it. Then you get Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy, which this would be an NXT TakeOver worthy match, I think, just about anywhere. These two guys have absolutely killed it together. So very good match. A lot of high spots with this. Really adrenaline filled. Really liked it. And at the end, Aleister Black hits Black Mass, picks up Buddy Murphy with his foot, second Black Mass. Aleister Black gets the win after just a really damn good match. So this was a great way to start off Raw. You have a very good opening segment and a damn good match to kick it off. And that's where everything went downhill. So right after that, you get a backstage Rollins AOP bit where they were asked to leave the arena because WWE didn't want any problems. They did the same thing with Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe during their bit. So apparently Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and AOP are all gone for the rest of the show. Okay, no big deal. Then you get Rowan versus some local guys, same shit they've been doing. Apparently nobody has learned not to look in the cage. It sets Rowan off. He goes crazy. He absolutely obliterates this guy. Nobody cares. Like, honestly, you can do it one or two times, like I said, in my opinion, before I start losing interest. This was obviously way more than one or two times. So after that, you see Lana in a motel room. She's getting ready for her big wedding with Bobby Lashley, and talking about how everybody is absolutely infatuated with her. Then you get Charlotte Flair. She cuts a promo saying she's the first person to announce their participation in the 2020 Royal Rumble. She takes on Natalya. Decent match. Charlotte Flair goes over. No big deal there. Then you get Becky Lynch in an interview where she says she feels like she has some unfinished business with Asuka. They need to clear it up. And so she wants to prove that she can beat Asuka, and she wants that match at the Royal Rumble. Then you get Bobby Lashley standing there in a suit looking like a doofus, just looking into a mirror. Then you get OC and the Street Profits. They cut a promo. OC starts out talking about who they beat, and, you know, they're the best tag team in the world, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Street Profits come out and remind them that they beat Gallows and Anderson. And so it kind of had that back and forth. Turns into a match. OC with AJ Styles, who tries to interfere in the match, gets caught and gets kicked out of ringside area. So then it's just Gallows and Anderson versus Street Profits. A really good match. I did like it. At the end of the day, the Street Profits win. Dawson... or whatever his name is, I can't remember exactly, but he does his like rope thing. Really funny. Then you get Lana. She gets a bit where she's like looking at flowers, even though the wedding's like a half hour away. Street Profits cut a promo after that. They were pretty funny. And I like the fact that they're getting matches now and they're still kind of tying in their promo work because they are good at promos. So I thought it was good humor and kind of relevant because, you know, they're saying, well, shouldn't we kind of be in contention for a tag team championship match? Which I would say yes. Then you get Drew McIntyre versus Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder handicap match. And honestly, Drew McIntyre cut a pretty good promo leading up to the match. He had the microphone, he's walking down the ramp. And honestly, in my estimation, he's really not known for his promo work, but this was pretty good. I really liked it. He had some humor in it, talking about how sexy he is, talking about how he did an audience poll of whether they thought he should be worried or Hawkins and Ryder. So, of course, Hawkins and Ryder try to jump him right off the bat. It goes nowhere. Drew McIntyre wins, pin both guys. what can you say? Randy Orton then comes to the ring. There was a big thing on the internet where at a house show, Randy Orton had hurt his leg, and so there was this big mystery about, what was going to be happening with him. And he starts cutting this promo in ring where he's saying that he doesn't know if he's going to be able to wrestle again ever because of this injury, So he says he's going to be out for a while. AJ Styles comes out, starts really messing with him, and he didn't really touch Randy Orton. And so that was kind of where it was like, okay, is this believable or not believable? Because if AJ Styles had actually done something, it's not really believable. They're not going to let him do something if he's hurt. So it did kind of make you guess for a second. Randy Orton then says he's kind of impatient because AJ Styles said he couldn't wait to get his hands on Orton again. Randy Orton then RKO's AJ Styles, stomps what is the bad knee into the mat to show everybody it's working fine. Everybody pops. It was actually really cool. It sold really well, I thought. Then you get Rey Mysterio, who cut a promo at Madison Square Garden. He lost his United States Championship to Andrade at a house show at Madison Square Garden. And he's saying that he's going to have his rematch, I think, next week. So that's cool. No worries there. Then you get Andrade, of course, with Zelina Vega versus some local guy. And the match doesn't really go anywhere. Andrade takes the dude outside of the ring, exposes the concrete. Ricochet comes out and says that's not going to happen today. So it turns into Andrade versus Ricochet, and the exposed concrete is still there. Ricochet gets backdropped onto the concrete. And they continue on the match from there. Zelina Vega eventually gets involved and helps Andrade get the win. So that was all fine, no problem with that. Then you get to the end. Bobby Lashley and Lana, the wedding. This was honestly one of the worst segments ever, just period. Some people were talking about how they liked parts of it, or just the segment in general, and I don't understand how. This, to me, was a dumpster fire of a segment. So you get the usual Bobby Lashley, Lana shit where the priest is dragging on and on. It just gets boring, dull, you lose interest. Then you have some nobody who claims to be Lana's ex-husband come out. Bobby Lashley slams him. You get some woman that claims to be Bobby Lashley's ex. Lana punches her off the apron. And then from out of nowhere, you get Liv Morgan, who claims that her and Lana have had this relationship blossoming for a while. Didn't make sense, didn't care, they had a scrap, whatever. Rusev comes out of a cake, beats the hell out of Bobby Lashley. Liv Morgan slams Lana's face into a wedding cake, and they close the show with Rusev and Liv Morgan kind of standing in the ring, standing tall. And I gotta be honest, I didn't care about a second of it. Not 1 second of it. Did not care. None of this was interesting to me. Honestly, it just went way too long before anything happened. If this could have been maybe 20 minutes shorter, maybe. But this was just as drawn out and boring as it could possibly be. And so it was like I said, to me, one of the worst segments Raw has ever done. And that says quite a bit. So, looking back at the show as a whole, it actually was kind of good. You had Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, AOP, that was fine. Aleister Black, Buddy Murphy was great. Charlotte Flair, Natalya was okay. OC Street Profits, that was decent. Drew McIntyre actually made what could have been boring at least funny. And Andrade Ricochet was a good matchup. So the show as a whole was pretty good. The last segment was garbage, though. And that's really what they left me with. Now, there were some things I honestly didn't care about, like the Drew McIntyre, Kurt Hawkins, Zack Ryder match as a whole. Like the match itself, who cares? Drew McIntyre is going over. And then you had the Lana Bobby Lashley bits all the way through, So I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10 because there were a lot of good matchups and they started very strong. They really started very strong. So it's above average, but not entirely above average. It's very borderline for me. So good show, but not great. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. So ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think in the comments below if you enjoyed this. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz, Kaged Nation, out.
Bye.